You like that. Woo!
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B. Just before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Twitter, TikTok. Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? Hit that notification bell, buy the subscribe button to get all our updated content when we release it. Let's get it popping. All right, y'all. Um, Before y'all come in here, make sure y'all wipe y'all feet. Like I said, hit that like button, get the notifications out there. Y'all can get this great content out there for the people, which we do it here for. Subscribe to the page, hit that notification bell, get our updated content when we release anything new, so you guys do not have to go and miss any more episodes. But that's nonetheless. Today we have a very, very spicy episode to talk about. Y'all read the title right. Bradley Beal is leaving the Washington Wizards. Okay, Bradley Beal leaving the Washington Wizards. Now, what presumed me to make this video is a sit-down interview that I saw with Bradley Beal and Miss Taylor Rooks. I believe she's on ESPN. And let me just say this too: they better stop letting these dudes sit around with these attractive women, man. Because check it out. Even back in the 2010s, you didn't. I was like, man, you didn't see all these, gorgeous women just interviewing guys just left and right. Now you got Taylor Rooks, you got Malika Andrews, you got Kendra Andrews. You know what I'm saying? You had Carrie Champion, you have Rachel Nichols, you had all these women just, Molly Karam, just interviewing people. Now I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying they better be careful because you only could, if you're around a person so much, you can, have temptation. Hint, hint. And a lot of these men have, significant others, women's wives, and you know what I'm saying? And for me, I couldn't do it. Like if I'm attracted to you, I'd rather be like, you know what? It's hard for me not to have thoughts in my head, right? So I just seen Taylor Rooks be interviewed by almost every NBA player, man. Not saying that she doesn't know basketball. I'm just like, man, the amount of interviews she be getting, just sit downs like left and right. I'm like, man, I wonder what if they request this. But that's nonetheless. Let's get into the subject at hand. This is actually a very good interview between Bradley Beal and Taylor Rooks, because it opened the floodgates to this topic we're going to talk about. Now, Bradley Beal is a small forward for the Washington Wizards. He's been with them. Let me just make sure I check He's been in the league since 2012. Each year he has gotten better, raising his field goal percentage, raising his points per game, getting the leadership role in the Washington Wizards. He's been averaging more than 20 points a game the last 6 seasons. Okay, he averaged 31 points in the 2020-2021 season. Not so much success in the playoffs. Washington has not been good in the playoffs. You had Bill with John Wall for that little stint. At that time, but the Wizards never really got past the second round. You know what I'm saying? Even with John Wall there. So they haven't really had much success as a team. They had 1 year with Westbrook before he came to the Lakers where they got to the first round and got pretty much beat within 5 games. And it was against they were the 8th seed. I think they lost if I'm not mistaken, lost to Philadelphia. So they're looking to, try to build a winning culture again over there in Washington. You had Gilbert Arenas there, the late 2000s, I'm saying? I think a little bit of the 2010s, they had the, Gilbert Arenas there, but they just could never get over the hump. And now you have Bradley Beal, who's the star player on the team. They're asking questions, kind of been swirling around for the last couple of years. Bradley Beal getting traded to another team. Now, he's actually a free agent right now, so he wouldn't have to actually be traded, meaning that he can go to another team and not have to deal with all the stuff with, matching contracts and all that jazz. You can just leave to a team that you want to leave to. So the Wizards offered Bill a supermax, I think a 5-year, $200-something million supermax contract for his services the next 5 years, pretty much saying that that's their franchise player. Now, I love Bradley Beal. I love his game. I think he's a top 20 player. in the NBA. He can, of course, he can score the ball. He can shoot. He can space the floor. He's a great team player, great teammate, um, energetic guy. And I think he's like 6'5", so he can play with pretty much any system. And he's also, I noticed he's very smart. How he, doesn't make too many mistakes with the ball in his hands. But again, the Washington Wizards have not been a good team, at least a playoff team in the playoffs, at least. So it, this interview, he spoke with Taylor Rooks about the trade rumors that have been going on. Is he gonna possibly be open to leave, and things of that nature. And he was very honest. One thing I like about Bradley Beal, he's a very high character person. He seemed like a guy that has a lot of morals, um, and he'll tell you the truth. Y'all seen some of his AAU, skits when he goes off on his AAU team, which I really just see a guy who's really passionate um, about seeing people, his kids succeed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's called tough love, and that's what Bradley Beal displayed with his AAU team. So that's what I got from this interview. Like, he's a person that really is honest with what he feels, and if you ask him a question, he's going to tell you like it is. And he told Taylor Rooks, pretty much how he felt about it. And pretty much all in all, what he said is that when he looks at going to a team, he looks at a couple things. He look at, first of all, his family. Are they going to be comfortable living there? Are they going to be happy being in a certain spot? He's all about his wife, his kids, his father, his mother, his brothers. Like, are they going to be happy living in a separate city? Um, that's from a personal standpoint. From a professional standpoint, there's guys that are looking just to get paid, and there's guys that are looking to win. Now, this is where the silver lining came in for Bill, because he said that, of course, when you look at both sides, you want the money. I mean, I guess you want security, you want to have financial wealth for your children, because it gets real after you retire. Because all this money these players are making, they have to rely on it, after basketball, because this is what their job is. Of course, if they get into commentating or something else, but for the most part, basketball, this is their job. So they have to make sure they have invested their money correctly, stretch it out how they're supposed to stretch it out for years to come. Because a lot of these players are making these big contracts and just blowing this money. They don't have financial advisors. They don't have people to invest their money. They'll make their money grow, and then they retire, and then people wonder why they on the streets, or they broke, or they lost their house, their cars, or whatever. Some of them are losing it to what I'm saying, child support. Some of them are losing it to just bad investing and bad management of money. So there's a lot of factors to look at why money is important when you talk about getting these big contracts. But Bill, being who he is he's 28 years old. He's looking at also the other side, which is also um, being in a winning environment, because he's 28 years old right now. I think he's about to be 29 soon. So you're right around the age where you're, smack dab in your prime. You're playing basketball pretty much your highest level. You got I would say about 6-7 more years to play. So you pretty much got your money. You got your contract. Um, and then now it's about winning. You get your money when you're younger. You're supposed to get your money. You're trying to make a deal. But once you get your first contract, then you're looking to get a bigger contract. And then now you're looking to do more important things, which is to win. Because money, at some point, the money is, it's cool, but now you want to be in a winning environment. Because if you're losing a lot, you're going to be miserable going to work. If you're a real competitor, which I think Bill is. So he basically said that he's open he wants to stay in Washington. He'll feel comfortable staying in Washington. He actually prefers somebody to come to his team, but he also left the door open and say, "Look, I'm gonna work hard either whether I'm here or whether I'm in a different team. I just hope people respect my decision." So that tells me that he's open to leaving Washington if the opportunity presents itself, because he wants to be in a winning environment, right? He wants to be on a team where he feels like he can win. And also, what I also got to say about this, let me just put this as well. Um, 1 second. Make sure I got this set down. I want to make sure I don't lead y'all astray. So he wants to be in a place where he can win. Now, there's a few teams that have been under the radar for places that he can possibly go to. Number one will be the Portland Trailblazers team with Dame Lillard. Now, this is another guy, Damian Lillard, who he's very, very loyal to his team. You know what I'm saying? Dame has been in the league for over a decade right now. He's had chances to win. He's had chances to get to the, finals. And, being in the Western Conference, going up against Steph Curry, and the Warriors, multiple years, going up against the Pelicans in 2000, I believe, was it 18? Um, Going up against, who else did he go up against? Houston, the Rockets when they had James Harden. Going up against Denver last year. So he's had opportunity after opportunity. He's made the playoffs every year of his career. Talking about Damian Lillard to make a run, and it looks like for at least for a couple years that he can possibly get there. Like I said, in 17 they made it to the finals. I mean, they made it to the conference finals, or was it 18? I believe 18. They made it to the conference finals. So I'm tripping. It was 2019. The Blazers made it to the conference finals, and they had a chance to get there to the finals, but they got swept by Steph Curry when they didn't have Kevin Durant there. So that was pretty much Dame's last opportunity to really make a push to the finals. So if you add Bradley Beal with Damian Lillard, what does that do? Well, of course, that adds more scoring to your backcourt. Of course, that adds more spacing. That adds another All-Star to your team. Um, it's going to be better than what you have now. I mean, the Portland Trailblazers, they cleared up cap space. You know what I'm saying? Try to get like a big piece to help Dame. Now, how do I feel like this trade will work? I think this will be another situation with CJ McCollum 2.0, meaning that you have an undersized backcourt and you're trying to win the championship. You know what I'm saying? And the West being as deep as it is, um, I don't see them make it to the finals. Now, they can make it interesting because I see Davis and Bradley are two very, very highly scored players, and they're very competitive, and they play with a lot of heart. So you can definitely make it interesting. But I just think when the dust settles, I mean, the teams like the Clippers, the Warriors, the saying the Suns, even though the Suns did what they did this year, you got teams like Dallas, the Pelicans, teams like that who are going to be right there. They're going to make it tough on them. Memphis. But I think with Damon Bradley Beal, they will make it interesting. But I think there's about 2 or 3 teams that are just better than them. So I just think this will be another repeat of CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard. And I think Bradley Beal, he wouldn't go to a team where he doesn't feel like he's going to have a really good chance to win a championship. So I don't see him going to Portland. The next one, let me pull up this right quick. There's another team that had an opportunity to possibly get him that I was thinking about would be the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, the Philadelphia 76ers with Joel Embiid and James Harden. Now, here's the problem with this one though. If you add if you have Bradley Beal, he's a free agent to this team, he's gonna take something away from Tyrese Maxey, who's their young guard. Now, obviously, Tyrese Maxey will be coming off the bench. It would be James Harden as the point, Beal as the 2, Tobias as the 3. I don't even know who the 4 is, and then Joel will be at 5. So Tyrese Maxey will be coming off the bench. I think he's going to be a third-year player next year, so I think he'll be okay with that. But again, you just got to make sure you don't stunt, Tyrese Maxey's growth. And I think with Beal, I think he wouldn't mind, sharing the wealth and, what I'm saying, being a mentor to Tyrese Maxey. And I think Max is a good enough, student of the game where he wouldn't, have such a combative spirit to, go at Bradley Beal. Now, James Harden's a different story. I think James Harden, he has to make up for what he did in the playoffs this year, because what he did was pretty much, like I said, should be under investigation. For you to have, I think he had 11 points in a closeout game, but that's nothing new about James Harden. He seems to underperform in these big situations. You can get him to quit. You can get him to give up. You can get him to pout. That's just who he is. So the success of this team, though, if everybody, including James Harden, is on their A game, this team can definitely get to the conference finals at least, and then get to the finals right after that. Because you got to remember, when they had Jimmy Butler, um, Ben Simmons, and then Joel Embiid back in 2019, this team was actually picked. The Sixers talked about going to the finals. Now I think James Harden, even though as lazy as he is, he's a better player than Ben Simmons. And I think Bradley Beal is just as good as Jimmy Butler. And Joel Embiid is 2-3 years older and better. So this team can get right back to that championship talk. Now I don't know how if it'll happen because I don't know how how much Philadelphia and Washington will work with each other because you got to remember Washington and Philly are in the same not in the same continent, they're in the same division. They're in the same division, which is the Atlantic divisions on the East Coast. So usually, you know, they have these little rivalries within the, conferences and the divisions where they don't want to help each other out. But unfortunately, Bill's a free agent, so he can go wherever he wants to go. It's up to really Bill what he wants to do. So if he thinks that the Sixers are a good opportunity for him to win, then he'll definitely go there. The third team I want to, make I think he's the best fit for him. And the team that actually I feel like will put him right at the cusp of winning the championship will be the Miami Heat. Okay. This is the team I feel should be in the finals right now. I feel like the Heat should be there over the Boston Celtics. Right? Jimmy Butler carried that Heat team to heights that you could not imagine. And I love the heart that he showed in that series in the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay? So if you ask me, I think Jimmy Butler, Bam, and Bradley Beal be a magnificent trio. Because number one, you got to think about the culture of Miami. Miami Heat is a very, very, first of all, successful culture. Number two, they know how to win, which Bradley Beal wants. Number three, they develop their players. You talk about guys like, I'm saying, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, DeAndre Dedmon, um, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, all these guys who have developed. Even the vets, even with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they develop their players the right way. They have the best coach in NBA, in my opinion, which is Eric Spoelstra, top three. They have a winning culture there in Miami. So why wouldn't you be excited to come and play for that type of organization if I'm Bradley Beal? And plus, you said also something important. He said he wants to be in a place where he feels like his family is going to be comfortable. Now, what other place wouldn't be as comfortable as Miami? Beach, sun, lifestyle. Now, maybe Bill doesn't really care about all that stuff. Maybe his family doesn't really care about all that stuff. But I'm just saying, Miami's not a bad place to live. And you get the best chance to win. So I would be open to go to Miami. Like I said, Bill can really go to any team he wants to go to because of his style of play and the way he fits in with the system. He can go on any team really he wants to go to. It's just a matter of what team would fit his needs and what team, what was his role be on each team he goes to. Because he can stretch the floor, he can shoot. He's a high character person, high character guy, a locker room guy. And I think with Miami, like, because Bill, I think he's never been known for defense. I think he'll play defense on this Miami Heat team. I saw him play defense in the Olympics, even though I know it's the Olympics. It shows that he will at least commit to that side of the basketball court. And with a guy like Jimmy Butler around, I'm pretty sure that Bill would have no problem committing on defense. Okay, so that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. Bradley Beal to out of the Washington Wizards. I think it's time for him to look for other options. But let me know what y'all think. You know what I'm saying? What you all think Bradley Beal should do? Do y'all feel like Bradley Beal should stay where he's at? Or do you feel like Bradley Beal has deserved and earned the right to, exercise another options? All right, y'all. But with that being said, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up. Peace. I like swim well.